Hello. Thank you all for joining me here on February the 21st of 2023 to study A Course in Miracles, Workbook for Students. We're reading from the original edition, Lesson 52. And I'm Willie from the Ozarks. Today's review covers these ideas. Lesson 6, I am upset because I see what is not there. I am upset because I see what is not there. Reality is never frightening. It is impossible that it could upset me. Reality brings only perfect peace. When I am upset, it is always because I have replaced reality with illusions which I made up. The illusions are upsetting because I have given them reality and thus regard reality as an illusion. Nothing in God's creation is affected in any way by this confusion of mine. I'm always upset by nothing. Review number 7. I see only the past. As I look about, I condemn the world I look upon. I call this seeing. I hold the past against everyone and everything, making them my enemies. When I have forgiven myself and remembered who I am, I will bless everyone and everything I see. There will be no past and therefore no enemies. And I will look with love on all that I failed to see before. Wow, I see only the past. Lesson 8 review. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see only my own thoughts, and my mind is preoccupied with the past. What then can I see as it is? Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from dawning on my mind. Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from dawning on my mind. He wants us to be here now, doesn't he? Let me understand that I'm trying to use time against God. Let me learn to give the past away, realizing that in so doing I am giving up nothing. Lesson 9 review. I see nothing as it is now. If I see nothing as it is now, it can truly be said that I see nothing. I can see only what is now. The choice is not whether to see the past or the present. It is whether to see or not. What I have chosen to see has cost me vision. Now I would choose again that I may see. And the last review today, number 10, my thoughts do not mean anything. I have no private thoughts. You just don't have them, even though you think you do. I have no private thoughts, yet it is only private thoughts of which I am aware. It seems like we're thinking just in our mind and no one else can hear us think. But he says, you don't have any private thoughts, yet it is only private thoughts of which I am aware. What can these thoughts mean? They do not exist, and so they mean nothing. Yet my mind is part of creation and part of its creator. Would I not rather join the thinking of the universe than to obscure all that is really mine with my pitiful and meaningless, in quotes, private thoughts? We don't need our private thoughts. We're all connected. We want to find those thoughts. Okay, so our review today, again, I'm upset because I see what is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. So we're going to string those ideas together, and it reads just like that. It's like tells the deeper story. Now that we've defined the words or the sentences, the phrases, now we put them together to reach a new level of understanding. I'm upset because I see what is not there. Oh, that's why I'm upset, because I'm seeing illusions. I see only the past. Oh, I'm looking at the past. Remember, I see only the past in this cup, and it is, I think, the example he gave us back on lesson 7. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I'm all thinking about what's going on in the past instead of in the now. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. So we're trying to get to that new place where our thoughts do mean something, because they're the thoughts we share with the universe. Okay, let's go take a look now at the section we're looking in chapter 6, Attack and Fear. And we are in section 5, the only answer. And in that section about the only answer, let's see, is that where we were? Just a minute, the only answer is the one that the Holy Spirit gives. And it's exactly opposite. We're going to really get into that in our lesson, in our reading today. But it's exactly the opposite of the way that the ego looks and the way that we think in the world. And it started off yesterday. We started with the first reversal thought. I have given, to have, give all to all. Excuse me. To have, give all to all. And we read that yesterday. And today we're going to be going to have peace, teach peace to learn it. And I think we have enough time. I want to do just a quick review of to have, give all to all. And there's something I just really wanted I wanted to emphasize about the reversal process. I didn't really spend a lot of time yesterday. We had that reading about the review and how we're going to do these next 10 lessons. So I didn't want to take too much time yesterday, but it's really important to understand that we're going through a reversal of thinking, and that at the beginning, this is at the beginning, to have, give all to all, we're used to thinking, well, hold it. If I give everything away, I'm not going to have anything for me. I need to not just, that's silly to think that I can just give everything away. But he said that is the kingdom of God's thinking. To have anything, you have to be willing to give it. And who to give it to? To everybody. To have, give all to all. Okay? And in the beginning phrases, that can be kind of a tricky thing. It says the Holy Spirit communicates only what each one can give to all. He never takes anything back because he wants you to keep it. Therefore, his teaching begins with the lesson to have, give all to all. This is a very preliminary step and the only one you must take for yourself. It is not even necessary that you complete the step yourself, but it is necessary that you turn in that direction. Having chosen to go that way, you place yourself in charge of the journey, where you and only you must remain. This step appears to exacerbate conflict rather than resolve it, because it is the beginning step in reversing your perception and turning it right side up. Okay? It'll seem to make things worse in the beginning, but it's only because we're looking at the world upside down. And this idea to have, give all to all, you have to see it from the kingdom of God's perspective. So it's gonna force a change in you if you go by the. I don't know if force is the best word, but it's going to inspire a change for sure. This conflicts with this to have, give all to all. This conflicts with the upside down perception which you have not yet abandoned, or the change in direction would not have been necessary. Some people remain at this step for a very long time, experiencing very acute conflict. At this point, many try to accept the conflict rather than take the next step toward its resolution. Having taken the first step, however, they will be helped. Once they have chosen what they cannot complete alone, they are no longer alone. So this one here is banishes loneliness, huh? Okay, well, so now we're going to pick up there in section B, to have peace, teach peace to learn it. So the first thing it said to have, give all to all. Now, remember how he said that teach only love, for that is what you are, and what you teach is teaching you. So you want to teach love because you want to be who you are, and you're going to learn by what you're teaching who you are. To have peace, teach peace to learn it. To have, give all to all. Okay, kind of go together. There's going to be three steps in this. The first one was the reversal, which is yesterday, to have, give all to all. Now we're going to continue on to have peace, teach peace to learn it. And then the third section Letter C, be vigilant only for God and His kingdom. So these are the things that will help us to be on our way. Before we get into section B, let me tell you, out of Edible Landscaping catalog, another type of cherry, and this is the Lala Star Sweet Cherry. The Lala Star Sweet Cherry is a new self-fertile selection from Bologna, Italy. The large fruits have excellent flavor and are very sweet. 20 bricks. So evidently 20 bricks is very sweet. Trees are very productive with a semi-spur habit and resists cracking due to rain. Zones 5 through 7, so perfect here in the Ozarks, space 12-foot circles. And I hope you all did find out what zone you're all in, so that everybody can kind of know, if when I'm reading these, which ones are good for your section. I'd also give you an encouragement to know what watershed you live in. That's very important. Not important maybe from Course of Miracles important lesson, but just from a Willie's important lesson, and know what watershed you're in. Anyway, the Lala Star Sweet Cherry is a Prunus avium, same as the one we did yesterday, the Kristen Sweet Cherry. Okay, let's take a look now at to have peace, teach peace, to learn it. All the separated ones have a basic fear of retaliation and abandonment. This is because they believe in attack and rejection. So this is what they perceive and teach and learn. These insane concepts are clearly the result of their own dissociation and projection. What you teach, you are, but it is quite apparent that you can teach wrongly and therefore teach yourself wrong. Many thought that I was attacking them, even though it was quite apparent that I was not. Jesus talking about the way that the Pharisees and the scribes and a lot of the lawyers and people of his day, religious leaders particularly, thought that he was attacking their religion. Doing things like picking some corn for his men on the Sabbath. They thought this was an attack. So many thought that I was attacking them, even though it was quite apparent that I was not. An insane learner learns strange lessons. What you must understand is that when you do not have a thought system, you are weakening it. And let's read that again. What you must understand is that when you do not share a thought system, you are weakening it. Those who believe in it, therefore, perceive this as an attack on them. Wow. This is because everyone identifies himself with his thought system, and every thought system centers on what you believe you are. If the center of the thought system is true, only truth extends from it. That's where we want to be, isn't it? But if a lie is at its center, only deception proceeds from it. And we've all had illusions that we realize, oh wow, that's not the way we want to see. And we're learning it every day, even in our lesson today, or in our text reading for today. To have peace, teach peace, to learn it. And to have, give all to all. But if a lie is at the center, only deception proceeds from it. All good teachers realize that only fundamental change will last, but they do not begin at that level. Strengthening motivation. Strengthening motivation for change is their first and foremost goal. It is also their last and final one. We want to encourage each other. We want to strengthen motivation to learn. That's what will lead to fundamental change, he says. Increasing motivation for change in the learner is all that a teacher need do to guarantee change. He says it really clear. This is because a change in motivation is a change of mind, and this will inevitably produce fundamental change, because the mind is fundamental. The first step in the reversal or undoing process, then, is the undoing of the getting concept. We've got to undo the getting concept. According Accordingly, the Holy Spirit's first lesson was to give all to all. We said that this is apt to increase conflict temporarily, and we can clarify this still further now. 73. At this point, the equality of having and being is not yet perceived. Having and being are equal, that they're one and the same thing. Until it is seen as of equal, having appears to be the opposite of being. Therefore, the first lesson seems to contain a contradiction, since it is being learned by a conflicted mind. This means conflicting motivation, and so the lesson cannot be learned consistently as yet. Further, the mind of the learner projects its own split, and thus does not perceive consistent minds in others, making him suspicious of their motivation. This is the real reason why, in many respects, the first lesson is the hardest to learn. First lesson, to have, give all to all. These are I guess you can call these the first three lessons of the Holy Spirit. And the first one is to have, give all to all. That won't be as difficult for those that have really tried through their life to be more, giving. Really trying to follow Jesus' teaching in the beginning. But if he's wanting us to take it to an extreme, here's the way I see it. To have, you've got to be able to give. And who do you give it to? Everyone. This is the real reason why, in many respects, the first lesson is the hardest to learn. Still strongly aware of the ego in himself and responding primarily to the ego in others, he is being taught to react to both as if what he does believe is not true. Yeah, that's why you say it's silliness. It's insane to give to all, to say to have, give all to all. Paragraph 74. Upside down, as always, the ego perceives the first lesson as insane. In fact, this is its only alternative here, since the other one, which would be much less acceptable to it, would obviously be that it is insane. The ego's judgment, then, is predetermined by what it is, though no more so than in any other product of thought. Let's read that again. Upside down, as always, the ego perceives the first lesson as insane, to have, give all to all. In fact, this is its only alternative here, since the other one, which would be much less acceptable to it, would obviously be that it is insane. The ego's judgment, then, is predetermined by what it is, though no more so than any other product of thought. The fundamental change will still occur with the change of mind in the thinker. Meanwhile, the increasing clarity of the Holy Spirit's voice makes it impossible for the learner not to listen. For a time, then, he is receiving conflicting messages and accepting both. This is the classic double bind in communication. The double bind in communication. 75. The way out of conflict between two opposing thought systems is clearly to choose one and relinquish the other. The way out of conflict between two opposing thought systems is clearly to choose one and relinquish the other. So if you have two ideas that are in conflict, like in the double bind idea, you've got to let go of one of them or both of them in order to see clearly. If they're in conflict, that means at least one of them has to be wrong, logically speaking, if they conflict. The way out of conflict between two opposing thought systems is clearly to choose one and relinquish the other. If you identify with your thought system, and you cannot escape this, and if you accept two thought systems which are in complete disagreement, peace of mind is impossible. If you teach both, which you will surely do as long as you accept both, you are teaching conflict and learning it. Yet you do want peace, or you would not have called upon the voice for peace to help you. His lesson is not insane. The conflict is. 76. There can be no conflict between sanity and insanity. Only one is true, and therefore only one is real. The ego tries to persuade you that it is up to you to decide which voice is true, but the Holy Spirit teaches you that truth was created by God, and your decision cannot change it. As you begin to realize the quiet power of the Holy Spirit's voice and its perfect consistency, it must dawn on your minds that you're trying to undo a decision which was made irrevocably for you. That is why we suggested before that there was help in reminding yourselves to allow the Holy Spirit to decide for God for you. Remember that there at the end of letting the Holy Spirit take over and let Him run your life. And He said, let the Holy Spirit to decide for God for you. That's the last paragraph of chapter 5. Last chapter we just did. 77. You are not asked to make insane decisions, although you are free to think you are. It must, however, be insane to believe that it is up to you to decide what God's creations are. The Holy Spirit perceives the conflict exactly as it is. Therefore, His second lesson is to have peace, teach peace to learn it. You want to be peaceful? Well, then share peace. Teach it to others. Be a good example. That's the best way to teach. To have peace, teach peace. And therefore you'll learn it. Think of it that way. To have peace, teach peace to learn it. This is still a preliminary step, since having and being are still not equated. It is, however, more advanced than the first step, which is really only a thought reversal. The second step is a positive affirmation of what you want. This, then, is a step in the direction out of conflict, since it means that alternatives have been considered and one has been chosen as more desirable. 80. Nevertheless, the evaluation more desirable still implies that the desirable has degrees. Therefore, although this step is essential for the ultimate decision, it is clearly not the final one. We're trying to reach that place where there's no order of difficulty in miracles, where we realize there are no degrees in love or in heaven or in the kingdom of God. It's all complete. So, nevertheless, the evaluation more desirable still implies that the desirable has degrees. Therefore, although this step is essential for the ultimate decision, it is clearly not the final one. It is clear at this point that the lack of order of difficulty in miracles has not yet been accepted, because nothing is difficult that is wholly desired. To desire wholly is to create, and creating cannot be difficult if God Himself created you as a creator. The second step, then, is still perceptual, although it is a giant step toward the unified perception which parallels God's knowing, which is what we're trying to do, get that unified perception. The miracle-mindedness is what he calls it, that parallels God's knowing. And the last paragraph, 81, as you take this step and hold this direction, you will be pushing toward the center of your thought system where the fundamental change will occur. Wow, we're pushing towards the center of our thought system. As you take this step to have peace, teach peace to learn it, as you take this step and hold this direction, you will be pushing toward the center of your thought system where the fundamental change will occur. You are only beginning this step now, but you have started on this way by realizing that only one way is possible. You do not yet realize this consistently, and so your progress is intermittent. But the second step is easier than the first, because it follows. The very fact that you have accepted that is a demonstration of your growing awareness that the Holy Spirit will lead you on. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, well let's take a look. I am upset because I see what is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. I am upset because I see what is not there. I see only the past. I see only the past in this cup. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. My thoughts do not mean anything. I am upset because I see what is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. My thoughts do not mean anything. Of course, he's talking there about our private thoughts that we don't share with the Holy One. Until tomorrow, be sure to do 7 at least 2 minutes. You can do more and longer if you'd like, as many as you'd like, but morning and evening for sure, for at least 2 minutes, reviewing all of them. And then throughout the day, choose each one and spend 2 minutes looking at it, integrating it. See how they kind of go together. I am upset because I see what is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts, or my private thoughts, do not mean anything. My thoughts do not mean anything.